Normally you will see me doing a garden tour starting in April, going into May, once I got everything all planted in. But this time I'm gonna do it slightly different because what I wanna do is show you guys all the work that goes into putting the garden together over the spring and the summertime. Now what you don't see here is a whole lot of my spring gardening because I really don't do a whole lot of spring gardening. Right here, you have some of my brassicas that are left over. And as you can see, these are the old-timey blue collars. They're going to seed. This one here, I think, is one of my strongest plants. So I'll probably be collecting the seeds off of this one. Got some celery over here that I'm gonna leave in. Maybe it'll bolt, I don't know. The reason why I'm carrying this fence post here is because we had a storm maybe a couple of weeks ago. One of my neighbors had some cardboard on a burn pile back there, and the cardboard caught the fence. I guess the wind acted sort of like a parachute and pulled the post over. So rather than trying to repair that post, I just went and got another one. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it in some black. But we're gonna save that for a little later when we get to working. We got Swiss chard in here that's left over from the winter time. We got some early frosty peas back there in the back. And of course our hashiko onions right here. And these here are some of our bok choy that's going to seed. I'm gonna let these go a little longer until they start to dry out. But that's one of the reasons why you don't see me doing any spring videos, because I don't really do any spring planting. Most of my planting is going to be geared for the summer. Some of the plants, like the brassicas, I'll have in, and if they make it through these ups and downs of the spring, that's fine and dandy. But after that, I use the brassicas like a catch crop. A lot of the aphids and other insects will be attracted to the brassicas, so I basically let them get beat up throughout the course of the summer. We'll go around here. Again, these are some of the cabbage that we had in during the wintertime. They didn't make it. Our celery made it. We also have some red onion that are coming up. That's from the wintertime. Over here, I've already mended the soil, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting broccoli back in over here, but I want this bed to sit for a couple of weeks. I'm going to be adding some mulch into it today. What I'm going to be doing with the golden raspberries this year, I'm going to take one of those dryer drums and I'm going to have like a half cut one, and I'll be putting both of the raspberries in there. Right here in this bed here, we got some broccoli that's already coming up. I don't like putting all my brassicas in one area because then that makes the insects want to travel to this one particular area. Like here you have some of my rosemary, and she stood up through that winter. It smells so good. Some of our California giant strawberries are trying to come back in. You see we got some wild raspberries coming in, as well as the strawberries are starting to take root over here, so we're gonna have to clean that up. Some more rosemary, look how beautiful that is. And she made it all the way through the winter time. Not a whole lot you can do with the rosemary, just leave her alone. This is some of the worst soil that I have over here. I haven't amended anything over here. Basically just put it in the soil, and the rosemary does her own thing. She does not like to be bothered. Gonna be cleaning out some of this. We already got it mulched pretty good, so this is gonna be our first few broccoli that comes in. And something that I'm very happy with, this is the first time that this brown turkey fig has not died all the way back. So I'm real happy with that. That means we've really established those roots, and we're gonna be looking good this year with the brown turkeys. I just wanted to show you guys, especially the beginning gardeners, just how much work it does go into making all of this happen every year. So back here, I got all of my cuttings that I've had from the previous year. We got some Chandler blueberries here, some Sweetheart blueberries, Chandler. This is a sharp blue. This is a Biloxi. The Perpetua didn't do as well, but I'm gonna see if I can save her. That's a champion fig in the back. That's a Brightwell blueberry here. This is a black mission fig here. This is a yellow long neck fig here. And look at what we have here. Looks like we're gonna get fruit this year. This is our Methley plum tree. She has fruit all over her. Yeah, see, right here in Georgia, We have some of the craziest weather. Right now it's 72 degrees today, but we still got to get through April and into May, which means that we can have another frost because we sometimes get snow in the month of April. So that's one of the reasons why you don't see me do garden tours in the month of April going into May. That's generally when I start showing the garden. But the wifey said it'll be a good idea for the new gardeners for you to really show what it takes to get the garden up and running every year. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just walk you through and just let you see everything that goes on in the garden. And this is a dwarf Santa Rosa. That's going to be your fruit coming in. And she is loaded down. I try not to count any of this because what can happen is that throwback frost and we'll lose all of this. We put most of these plum trees in the fall of last year. If you've ever heard anybody talk about a prune tree, they're talking about the Italian plum. And you'll notice this one and that one over there still don't have buds on it because these two are European plums. The rest of these are Asian plums or Japanese plums. The Methley, Santa Rosa, the Shiro, and the Beauty are Asian plums. The Beauty, and that's this one here, I just put this one in maybe 2 weeks ago, and you can see her starting to bud out already. All of these are available on growingoutthebox.com. As I'm showing you these bushes out here and showing you how they grow, I want you to be able to see exactly what I'm doing to them. Makes your journey on growing your backyard orchard so much easier. The match to this is the prune plum. So the whole back side of the garden is going to be set up for all of our plum trees. You see I have another raised bed that I'm adding in over here. Hadn't really quite decided what I want to do with that just yet. But here we have our teepee tent. We're probably going to put some netting over this, and I'm going to be growing some squash inside of here. I'm not dealing with that squash bug this year, nor am I dealing with the squash vine borer. Right here, you can see this baby starting to bud out, and look at these thorns on her. This is the Poncirus trifoliate, and this is what they call a bitter orange or a bitter lemon. This is the 5th year in it, and you can see all that new growth. She's starting to come back in for the year. And what I'm going to be doing with her this year, I'm going to be doing some grafting with my Miwa Kumquat on here, and I'm also going to be putting my Brown Select Satsuma on here. So this is going to be a real producer, and I can also do cuttings on it, take those cuttings and use it as rootstock for any other citrus that I want to grow around here. So we're going to come back around. And we go into our California giant strawberry bed here, but this has to be cleaned out. They're starting to come in. Some of them are flowering already. Right here we have our Ozark and bouncing back from the winter. Some more of our Ozark here. Everything has to be cleaned up. Over here we got a cabbage. This is one of the ones we put in a couple of weeks ago. And again, one of the reasons why I do not like planting in the springtime, because most of this stuff out here is going to bolt on you, so you're not going to get a harvest out of it. So for me personally, because of the weather that we have down here, is one of the reasons why I don't do really any spring planting. That is the reason why I use those 32-ounce cups, because if that weather changes up on me, I could take those plants, take them back inside. And once the weather conditions are better, I bring those back out. And right here, you have some of our blackberries that have jumped over here. And that's one of the reasons why, if you look at that blackberry bed, you can see it etched into the soil. And the reason for that is because those blackberries will jump and they will take over your garden. And I'll take those seedlings sometimes and then sell them at the farmer's market. Over here, we got some leeks, and they've been in all winter, so they are doing very well. And then what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to let that go to seed. That's what it's going to give you, these type pods here. And what is that? That's our icicle radish. These things are going to give off, look at that big old bulb on there. You start seeing the icicle radish just starts popping up everywhere. And it's basically coming out of these little pods that drops. So here's another cabbage. I need to put a bigger cage on that. That's just to keep that moth from landing on it. We got our Mars grapevine here, and she's just starting to bud. So we're gonna see if she made it through the winter time. She's looking rough right now, but that's our Mars grapevine. And this one right here is a Concord, and you can see she's already putting out a bud. Right here is another Mars grapevine, and you can see it just starting to put out some buds right there. So hopefully they'll come back. I don't know if they will. I put them in fall of last year. We got seeds off of this from last year, and that was our Cherokee purple. So this is gonna move. I'm not doing anything. I think I'm gonna put a raised bed right here and then put some type of trellising mesh on this and allow it to trellis over that. So we're gonna put some use into that this year. Over here we got some more Swiss chard that's left over from the winter time. Some more Swiss chard on that side that's left over from the winter time. There's some more leeks, and look how beautiful those things are coming up. And here's some of my elephant garlic down here. And this is just one of the beds that I have with the elephant garlic, and they're just coming up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna refertilize them for the spring, and then I'm gonna mulch that bed over again. And here we're gonna be growing our Georgia candy roaster there. And this obelisk trellis that we have here, we're gonna be building 2 more of these. For all of y'all who've been asking me to show the build on these, and I'll show you the build. I showed me putting it together and painting it last year, but I'm gonna put 2 more together and I'll show you the actual build on it. So be looking for that video. And this here, look at this baby here. These come out of the winter time. Look at this, she's flowering already. And these are fava beans. And these were planted during the fall of last year, and they actually made it through some 13 and 14 degree temperatures over the winter. And you can see half of them made it. Now I did reseed, so you can see some new ones popping up here. I'm really happy with the fava beans, and I gotta give my man David Coyle with the crops props for this one, because he's the one that turned me on to these fava beans, and I'm loving what they've been doing so far. Got some yarrow trying to come up here, and this is white yarrow here. I remember putting that white yarrow in there. We're gonna put some more peppers in here, along with some type of runner bean, or I may do something a little different. I have the yellow butterfly pea, the blue butterfly pea, as well as the white. So I wanna start mixing those in, and that's gonna be part of keeping those pollinators in here. We have some more of our elephant garlic, and we have to fertilize these again for our spring fertilization. On this side, we have some more elephant garlic coming up. Again, they need to be fertilized again for our spring. So I got elephant garlic all the way around here. We have 56 in this particular bed. Now I've already fertilized this earlier this week. I need to go back and mulch over it. So I'm gonna be putting my cypress mulch on here. Some more onions over here. Those are red onions. They were put in the fall, and they've made it through. Now here's a question that I have for you guys. And this is another one of our brown turkeys here. As you can see, my blueberries are planted over here. This is the 3rd year with this brown turkey fig. The question that I have for you guys is, last year she did give me some figs. This year she didn't die back just like the other one over there. That means that she is well established and most likely gonna give me some really good figs this year. Now the question that I wanted to ask was, should I move her? Because right now, you can see I have some more blueberries in pots over here. I wanted to add 8 more blueberries in this section over here. And this baby, although she is in her right space to where she can dominate this area here, because you can see I gave her a little more space so she has room to branch out, and we'll keep her pruned every year. I really want to put all of my blueberries in the same area over here and just have this entire area with blueberries. Should I move this fig tree after it's been here in its 3rd year and it's finally, for the first time, come back from the winter without dying all the way back? So once again, it's not always glitz and glamour. There's a lot of work that goes into doing this, and I wanted to do this video mostly for the new gardeners coming online, to let you see it's actually putting in work. And if you want a garden, this is where it starts at, springtime, growing out the box.